Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we have quite a mission, actually. We're trying to distill some really timeless wisdom about communication
hmm
and see how it applies, right now in the middle of modern work chaos. We're looking at the THINK framework, THINK. It's this set of principles, pretty simple, really, often traced back to like Socrates or ancient wisdom traditions.
Right, and this isn't just some dusty philosophy lesson. We're saying this framework, true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, it's actually critical, especially now in these high-stakes, fast-moving tech environments. Think about building psychological safety or fostering real innovation or just having honest conversations.
Which are so needed.
Exactly, especially in agile culture, and definitely when you're implementing complex AI, you absolutely need this kind of filter.
hmm So, the goal for you listening is to figure out how to use this filter effectively. How do you make sure your words actually lead to good outcomes, positive results, useful stuff, while, and this is key, respecting everyone's time and energy? Okay, let's dive in. Let's unpack THINK, starting with T, true, truth. It sounds obvious, maybe, but it's the bedrock, isn't it? If what you're saying isn't grounded in reality, everything else kind of falls apart. Why is this step one, particularly thinking about agile product management where things are often complex, uncertain?
Well, it's fascinating when you contrast it, right? Think
Mhm.
about traditional waterfall project management.
Yeah.
Often the whole system, the incentives, almost push teams into, well, over-promising, hitting those fixed targets, fixed dates, even if deep down they knew it wasn't quite feasible.
Yeah, that green status report pressure.
Exactly. Whereas Agile, good Agile culture,
Mm.
demands this radical transparency. It absolutely thrives on honest, objective talk about what we actually know is factually accurate today,
Yeah.
even if that truth is a bit uncomfortable and not what people want to hear.
Okay, and this gets even more critical, I think, when we look at something like AI development. The level of ambiguity, the complexity, it's already incredibly high.
Right.
So if you start layering in falsehoods or even just, obscuring the reality a bit, the risk doesn't just go up, it feels like it goes up exponentially. Like talking about an AI model's output. Often it's probabilistic, right? Not a dead certainty.
That's a perfect example.
If we present those results as absolute facts, when the system itself works on confidence scores, well, that's a dangerous disconnect we're creating.
It really is
hmm
a critical technical point. You have to be rigorously honest about what the system can actually do, its capabilities, its limitations, its constraints. And speaking of those sometimes uncomfortable truths, maybe it's about technical debt piling up in a sprint. Maybe it's about the real limitations of a new algorithm that is the core mechanism for building trust, technical trust, and it actively reduces systemic risk. If you can't trust the input, how can you possibly trust the process or the final output?
Okay, that makes total sense. And it leads us pretty naturally to the next letter, H, helpful. Because let's face it, not everything that's technically true is actually helpful in a given moment.
Exactly. This forces a focus on purpose. Is what I'm about to say actually going to help the situation?
Right.
Will it move the conversation forward? Help the product improve? If not,
Then what is it?
it's essentially waste.
Yeah.
And this connects so directly to lean thinking. Lean principles teach us relentlessly to find and eliminate muda waste in our production processes.
Right, we think of waste as like extra inventory or features nobody uses.
Yeah, physical stuff or code.
Yeah.
But ineffective communication, oh, that's one of the biggest, most pervasive forms of waste in almost any modern organization. It's just maybe less visible sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about that email chain that goes on forever, or the meeting that achieves nothing an agenda wouldn't have, or even a status update that sounds busy but doesn't clarify the actual next step.
Yeah, just noise.
Every word takes time. Your time, the listener's time. It consumes energy. So if that communication doesn't serve a clear, positive purpose, if it doesn't reduce friction or clarify what needs doing, it's just creating mental work in progress, clogging up people's focus.
And that directly slows things down. It slows value delivery. It disrespects people's time. Simple as that.
Okay, so filter one, true. Filter two, helpful. If we manage that, we've got grounded, useful communication. What's next?
Well, the next step is moving beyond just utility towards momentum,
Yeah.
generating energy. That brings us to I, inspiring.
Right, because the goal isn't just to like transmit data packets back and forth.
Oh,
It's about catalyzing change, isn't it?
Mhm.
Inspiring communication doesn't just inform, it should spark some kind of positive action. Maybe it moves people out of being stuck or motivates them to think differently to improve things.
yes. And that emphasis on sparking action is what takes, say, an abstract product vision in agile product management. and helps turn it into real, tangible outcomes that people are excited about. A good product leader needs to articulate the why, the purpose, in a way that generates energy, not just tasks.
So if something is true and it's helpful, adding that layer of inspiration can really amplify the results.
Absolutely. It moves teams from just, checking boxes and completing tasks to actively owning the creative outcome,
Hmm?
feeling invested. And that applies just as much to complex AI work as it does to product teams. You need that spark.
Okay, true. Helpful, inspiring. THI. That seems like a solid basis for effective speech. But
Hmm.
the fourth letter, N, necessary. This one feels a bit different. It introduces a kind of check, right? A brake pedal
It
almost.
really does. And it forces a crucial question, especially for anyone in a leadership or a mentoring role. Is my input actually necessary right now? It requires real discernment to know when silence or just holding back is more valuable than jumping in.
Yeah, because over-intervention, that can be damaging.
Oh, it's incredibly damaging. Often it's just a symptom of not trusting the team. And it's probably one of the quickest ways to kill psychological safety. People stop taking risks, speaking up.
I liked that anecdote you mentioned from the sources about the boulder. It makes it very clear.
Ah, yes. The idea is if someone is walking straight towards a giant, obvious boulder.
You don't need to shout, hey, watch out, there's a boulder.
Exactly. It's unnecessary. It's
Uh,
actually patronizing, right? They can see it.
But if there's a hidden hazard, something subtle they might not see.
That's when you speak up. Maybe it's that piece of hidden technical debt we talked about, or a looming security risk, or a dependency they haven't considered. That's necessary communication. That's crucial.
So necessary lives in that space of the hidden danger, the non-obvious insight.
Precisely. Constant intervention on the obvious stuff. It just stops people from learning to see the boulders for themselves, to navigate their own path. When you deliberately withhold input, unless, obviously, there's immediate danger or a critical deadline is about to be blown,
Mm.
you give the team space to discover their own solutions, make their own connections, and that process, it's absolutely essential for growth, for resilience, for building real ownership in the team.
Hmm.
That's core to Agile success.
Okay, true. Helpful, inspiring, necessary. We're down to the last letter, K, kind. You saved this one for last, but it feels like maybe it underpins everything else.
In many ways, yes, kindness is like the context, the essential medium through which the other principles operate electively.
But here's the tricky part, isn't it? The potential conflict that always comes up. Doesn't kindness sometimes clash with truth? If I have to deliver some hard feedback or point out a flaw or state an uncomfortable truth about a project status, isn't being kind sometimes just avoiding the issue? Doesn't it risk undermining trust?
That is the challenge, you're right.
Yeah.
And it's where people often get tripped up. But the key, I think, is defining kindness properly. It's not just about being nice. It's not about avoiding difficult conversations.
So what is it then?
It's about genuine, long-term care for the other person's growth, their well-being, and for the success of the collective goal. Without that foundation of genuine care, communication can just become, well, mechanical, just data transfer, dumping information without any empathy for how it lands.
Right. Data dumping without connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real kindness fosters that meaningful connection. It
Sure.
creates an environment where people can actually hear and absorb those difficult but necessary truths without feeling personally attacked or shutting down. And if you think about applying this to AI development, which is so new and potentially impactful, building a work culture based on this kind of kindness is vital. Well, it ensures we approach the tech with genuine respect. Respect for the users, for society, for the potential unintended consequences. That inherent care helps steer us away from outcomes rooted in carelessness or bias or even malice. It promotes positive, responsible development because it keeps the human impact front and center.
So pulling it all together, filtering our communication through this whole THI&K framework, it's more than just a checklist.
Much more. It's a fundamental guide. It helps us intentionally build systems, communication systems, team systems, eventually even technical systems that actually enhance human potential rather than diminishing it.
Yeah.
It stops us from just reacting all the time and forces us, even for a moment, to be intentional about our impact.
Meaning every interaction, maybe every Slack message, every comment in a meeting, each word becomes a deliberate building block, a building block for creating positive solutions, for fostering teams that can adapt and succeed. Whether those teams are working on delivering value continuously in agile product management or tackling the massive complexities of brand new AI applications.
Well said. It
Yeah.
applies across the board.
Okay, so to wrap up, let's leave you, our listener, with a final thought to mull over. Think specifically about that and necessary, that idea of discerning when to speak and when not to. In your very next team meeting, maybe, when you feel that impulse to jump in, just pause, ask yourself, is this truly necessary? What valuable insight, what discovery might you enable in your colleagues if you deliberately chose silence in that moment instead of speaking?
That's a powerful reflection. And hey, we genuinely always value your feedback. Let us know what stood out for you in this deep dive. Maybe you have experiences navigating that truth versus kindness tension, or how you apply these ideas. We'd love to hear how we can keep making these discussions better.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. If you found this useful and want to dig deeper into the sources, the background on THINK, or the modern applications we touched on, please do check out the links in the description to the source video. And stay tuned for more insights on building adaptive, resilient organizations, especially as we navigate this era of constant change in AI.